much for having me today with you. This is my privilege and really honored to be able to address this wonderful group of teachers, educators. I'm glad that this is actually my second opportunity. I was at the first conference as well, so thank you very much. Yes, it was a very generous introduction. My name is Naila and I work with UNICEF as a senior education consultant. And the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is something that's really, really close to my heart and my passion, because I believe that we cannot advance in education at all unless we are able to develop our teachers and develop their skills as the demand of the times have changed, and the 21st century skills are completely different. The demands are different. So we need to equip our teachers with the right skills. And since I believe that this is the QAED is a platform where policies are made and policies are developed, and people are coming up with ideas on how the teaching profession can be completely transformed, and teachers can be given trainings that are in line and with the demands of the new, with the demands of the 21st century skills, as well as with the United Nations, SDG 4, which is education. So I will be obviously, the purpose and the objective is that what kind of innovative strategies can we use to enhance the teacher professional development, which obviously focuses on equity and quality. We know that teaching profession is mostly, felt or is actually understood as, the teachers from especially from the female, gender is mostly in this profession. So we want to make it accessible for everybody, right? And that is one of the reasons that this conference is happening, and that is one of the reasons that I chose this particular topic. I feel that global benchmarks and local needs should be used or should be kept in mind when you're talking about when you are tailoring the policies or when you are trying to uplift the educator's potential. And equity and inclusion in teacher professional development is something that cannot be ignored in recent times. We are looking at the establishing, and if QAED is one of the institutes that is establishing a national initiative that guarantees that teachers, regardless of their geographic or institutional differences or even their gender, can access continuous professional development programs. And obviously, that is, some of them are state funded, some of them are online platforms, and some of them are remote or under-resourced areas. We need to see that nobody is left behind. So that is one of the purposes of my presentation today. I believe that equity and inclusion in teacher professional development is as mandatory as having a curriculum, having a syllabus, and having a policy, educational policy. We are looking at strategies like developing and deploying digital continuous teacher professional development platforms that offer, that looks at funding, looks at local. You can have virtual sessions like satellite sessions for teachers in the remote areas, but that can only happen if they have access to the internet, to the modern technologies to actually be part of these professional developments. We need to look at these opportunities. We need to ensure that these opportunities are available during the school time, outside of the school hours, and that actually accommodates the different schedules. Sometimes some schools, timings are such that children are in school till late and teachers don't get those opportunities. But at the same time, I understand and I believe that teaching hours in Pakistan are half day, mostly children go home by 1. So there has to be some kind of setup where during the afternoons most schools could come up with strategies where they could actually professionally develop their teachers and using their internal resources, right? Sorry, I'm trying to, yeah. Now, looking at this inclusive policy design, one of the advocacy direction is that the curriculum that is used is not only inclusive but is actually addressing the diverse needs of diverse student populations and includes training in special education, multilingual education, and culturally responsive teaching methods. And I think that is one thing that we are lacking in because the demands of the 21st century have changed and have moved. So that means that we need to change our teaching strategies. We need to change our mindset as well. How are we going to advocate for the inclusive policy design? How are we going to advocate for continuous professional development for teachers if we are mentally and socially not ready for such changes, right? We need to collaborate with experts. We need to include the experts in special education, in ESL, and cultural studies so that their input is used in these specialized modules, especially for the professional development programs. We need to mandate the CPD credits that include courses or inclusivity on inclusivity and diversity to prepare teachers for a diverse classroom environment. Because remember, we are preparing them for a world that is now a global village. So are our teachers trained to do that? Are our teachers equipped to be actually able to make our citizens, our children, international citizens, global citizens, and that who are equipped with the right skills? I believe that quality, when you bring in quality, of course, you look at the certification as well. You need to introduce compulsory certification for all teachers. Mostly, what I understand and what I see, and the schools that I have visited in Pakistan, I have seen that anybody who has acquired a degree, whether it's a bachelor's or a master's degree, is eligible to teach in schools. And if they get a good job, they are actually able to teach. If they get an opportunity in school, they're able to teach. There is no requirement for teacher training. There's no requirement for a certification that actually, is for their field. So that is something that really needs to change. When I was having conversations with educators in Pakistan, I understood that when the single national curriculum was introduced, that was the biggest challenge because teachers did not know how to implement the program, how to implement the syllabus or the curriculum when they do not know themselves what it means to have learning outcomes, what it means to have a transdisciplinary curriculum or a syllabus. So those trainings are very, very important. And when you certify your teachers to be able to, that they are certified to actually execute or implement this syllabus or this program, then it gives them, not only it gives them more professional, a boost to their career, but it even gives them some kind of authority to train the upcoming teachers, the new lot of teachers who is actually supposed to be taking over as well. We must look at the continuous assessment renewal as well. We need to look at that the certification is not just, it should not be seen just as one-time achievement, but actually it's part of a lifelong educational journey. It regularly needs to be updated, it regularly needs to be renewed, and it should be required to reflect on the latest educational research, the technological advancements, and best practices in teaching. I believe that setting up a periodic review board that consists that has got educators in it, that has got policymakers and academic experts should be part of this updated certification criteria and requirement, practices and policies. We need to provide very clear pathways and support for teachers to renew their certifications. We need to include preparatory courses, study materials, and financial aid if necessary. And I believe that the biggest resource that schools and institutes have is one of them is the internal resource, the experienced teachers, they should be involved in creating modules, training modules for teachers, especially that are designed for the needs of those schools. What is the need of your school? You have to identify that first. Is your school lacking or struggling with the math program, with the numeracy skills? Is your school struggling to achieve high scores in literacy, in language, in English? So what is it that the school can do using their internal resources to bring those teachers on board and train the teachers who are not trained to implement this program? Continuous professional development, the emphasis actually is that we need to highlight the importance of dynamic professional development that integrates latest educational technologies, that equips teachers with innovative teaching methodologies and addresses the diverse needs of students. And it should not only be responsive, but also proactive in anticipating the future needs of education. What kind of strategies can we use to actually emphasize on that? We can regularly update to CPD content, especially so that we can incorporate new research findings. We can incorporate technology tools and teaching strategies. Creation of annual or biannual CPD events can even be organized that can focus on like this conference is a very innovative way, is a very engaging way of ensuring that teachers know what is the importance of developing their careers as teachers, and how how important it is to equip themselves with the latest teaching methodologies. One of my objectives is to actually propose the designing of certain programs that are actually tailored, actually designed to specific career stages of teachers, from the inexperienced or novice teachers to very experienced educators, and of course, as well as their specialized subject areas. As I said, needs based. What is the need of your school? Does your school need assessment, training on assessment, how to do or how to run assessments? Are we still looking at rote memorization and assessment and teaching to assess kind of practices? Or you feel that you are ready to actually, acquire new ways and new methods, and then use those ones to create or design your programs, right? What can be the action steps? What can be done? You can conduct surveys and interviews. You can gather data that is based on the specific needs and preferences of teachers, especially who are at the various stages and in different subjects. What kind of trainings math teachers might need? What kind of training language teachers, English teachers, or science experts would be needing? So based on that data, based on that research that you have conducted in your institute, now you can look at an annual plan that these kind of insights can be done, this kind of workshops can be done in our schools, or the authorities or the ministries of education can actually come up with these kind of training programs. You can develop differentiated tracks that target the specific needs and have more relevant and impactful learning experience. I thought about some of the recommendations from some expert groups that are that can be on continuous professional development initiatives. One of them is a very comprehensive professional development framework. Establishing a framework that is comprehensive, that is flexible, and that combines traditional face-to-face workshops with online modules and peer collaboration opportunities. I feel that this mixed approach caters to different learning styles and schedules that makes the professional development more accessible and effective. Remember, we're looking at equity. So equity can only be attained or it will only be successful if we are working and are flexible with accessible and effective ways of teaching, or ways of needs or needs of the teachers. My other thing is that these if looking at my recommendations, I'm looking at the face-to-face workshops like the one that you are part of today, like the one I'm able to talk to you from so far away, talking to you about the things that we are doing or have done in the past that have really worked for the institutes. So one of them is face-to-face workshops, and that they are interactive, they are hands-on, they have training sessions that not only encourage active participation but are even providing you with real-time feedback. You are able to reflect on your learnings immediately and can get feedback and expert advice on spot, right? Then you can even, and then the organizations can come up with online modules. Every school, every area, every province can come up with their own needs, looks at what kind of needs we have for our teachers and how can we develop them professionally. And then those online modules can be developed or can be designed by the learning designers, by the experts who can be approached to help you with that. And of course, you can offer these scalable and accessible learning options that teachers can complete at their own pace, right? Peer collaboration is another way where you can facilitate mentorship programs and professional learning communities that enable teachers to learn from each other's experiences and insights. Even side events like this event that you are having, they can be small side events like workshops, and I understand and I believe that you have such sessions as well, where you have side events where you are collaborating with other teachers, you are engaging with in discussions that are helpful for you to acquire new skills and to find out about the programs that can be used for professional development. We can make connections by using these connecting the completion and performance in these programs directly to teacher appraisals and promotional paths will help with the motivation as well. If we were to give teachers appraisals, they would have to go through this appraisal process where they are looking at what kind of one of the key areas or one of the key criteria can be how many professional development courses did you attain or did you achieve this year. So if you are looking at progressing in your career, if you're looking at becoming a better teacher, then what is it that you have done to achieve that goal, right? We need to develop transparent metric systems that evaluate the impact of that professional development on teaching, which is the effectiveness of the teaching and student outcomes. Integrating these professional development achievements into overall teaching evaluation process will ensure that these efforts are acknowledged in appraisals, in raises, and in promotions, which brings in the concept of equity, that if somebody is promoted or if somebody is given a raise or if somebody is progressing in their in their career, the reason is that they are actually developing themselves professionally and they're going out of their way to actually become better teachers and have more skills acquired. Sorry. Now, I'll just skip a little bit because I just want to go to some of the things that are really relevant to the teachers here that are attending this. I was just thinking, whenever you are in such workshops, you're looking for more interactive information, not just somebody giving you a lot of information that you cannot comprehend. So what kind of small things that you can do that you can remember, and then when you go back, you can actually look at these ways and how you can access these different trainings that are being offered. Now, policy needs to be aligned with the purpose of recruitment, and that is something that if the criteria are clear in these recruitment policies, then it will be easy for teachers to know what they are required to do to be able to actually get recruited or to secure a job. So if it was just like if the criteria had some kind of experience, That means the teachers or the new or the young lot who is finishing university or is finishing their bachelor's or finishing their master's and they want to be teachers, they should be able to go through these policies and read them and say, what is it that our country's system is requiring us to be able to do, or to do what which will secure me a job in education, or will make me, or I can get a good job in a school system or in a government school system or in a chain of schools that is private. What is it that different fields or different sectors of education actually require teachers to have? What kind of skills, what kind of qualifications? Is it just master's, or is it MA? Is it just bachelor's, or is it that BM? Or is it just a degree, or there is some kind of experience that I need to have to actually secure this job? And of course, these implementing this needs has some considerations as well. We need to coordinate with the educational institutions and of course certification bodies to ensure that the recruitment process reflects the latest standards, right? You need to use those certifications are very important. Even when you leave an institute, it actually goes on, it takes you places. The training, the skill that you have acquired cannot be taken away from you, and that is the best part of being in these. That is the best part, or that is the best aspect of having these, certifications given to you. Now, I know that there are bridging policy gaps that do not exist or are very vague, very unclear. I'm just going to leave this part because I understand that I'm addressing teachers and I would like to be talking to them. So policy bit, I will leave for the organizers to have a look at them. I will talk about the feedback system. I think that we can come up with the online surveys and digital feedback forms that are easy to access and complete. We need to have regular focus groups and interview with teachers together, qualitative data that will help us to come up with the robust feedback systems. That only then we will be able to develop comprehensive feedback mechanisms if we are able to reach out to teachers in this way. I hope I'm not too fast, guys, but I just really want to cover everything. Or maybe if there is anything that you'd like me to address at the end. So I'm looking at the time, and I want to just go towards the summary of the objectives of this. I want to reiterate that we need to make the commitment to fostering an educational environment which we characterize by high quality teaching, supported by equitable, inclusive, and continuously evolving professional development policies. These professional development policies should not be, written in that as if they can never be evolved or if they can never be upgraded. These should be work in progress documents where they can, every year there has to be some kind of feedback system that is used when you collect information from teachers. We can only meet the vision for our future vision for education by looking at teaching community where continuous improvement and excellences are norms and are driven by well-founded and adaptive policies. We need to look at teachers as as I said, the key pillars of education, and we must see that there are policies that we are developing, and policies are actually teacher training and professional development is actually a key part of that policy. And most of the time when I'm given policies to review, I look at the content of those policies. Most of the time they are focused on assessment, they are focused on curriculum, they are focused on results and how teachers or which school is performing well, what kind of data we are collecting. But we are never emphasizing on development of teachers as individuals. We are not emphasizing enough on providing our teachers with right kind of skills and strategies and methods so they can cater to the diverse needs of their learners. In a class of 25 students, you will find that there will be 4 or 5 students who will be doing really well, and then the teacher will be losing out the remaining 19, 20 students because they do not have the strategies and the methodologies to cater to their needs. Maybe those are the learners who have got learning difficulties. Maybe those are learners who have got special conditions or special physical disabilities that the teacher has not been able to identify. So how can teacher identify those gaps, those challenges? How can teacher help those teachers? But if the teacher has got the right kind of training to be able to identify the gaps, the challenges that their learners have, and then design their teaching, design their lesson plans to meet the needs of these students. I'm hoping that this kind of discussions will now open up and teachers will engage themselves, or the policymakers, stakeholders will engage in dialogues with teachers, look at their needs, look at the gaps that are there. And I think that engagement of all stakeholders, policymakers, community at large is actually it's a very, very pivotal thing. And we need to support the ongoing development and refinement of teacher education policies by doing that. We need to have a unified effort approach. We need to have a collective effort which is required to ensure that these strategies are effectively implemented with all actions coordinated and all voices heard. Teachers need to be part of these discussions. Teachers need to be part of these policy developments. Teachers need to be part of the development plans that are being done by people who might not be actually involved in education directly. So we can only bring in equity and equality in our education and quality as a result of those things. If we were actually admitting that the teachers were one of the stakeholders of their own development, and we need to give them that kind of importance, and their input, their feedback is equally important. Thank you very much for your time, my fellow educators. I feel that I'm privileged that I was given this opportunity to talk to you. If there is anything, Zaria and the administration, if there is anything, if there are any questions, you guys know you can always direct them to me. You can always send them to me. I post things on LinkedIn regularly where teachers can approach those podcasts and read that information. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ms. Naila. Perhaps we have forgotten the third lens. That might be a quality book, that is self-explanatory book. That might be a student-centered, that will enhance the teacher's capability of professional development. There is a situation when all stress is going on for the on result oriented. The result of the boards that are directly linked with the promotion of the teachers. So what happens? The cramming and board learning is developed among the students. Perhaps that all the situations that you are discussing that might be possible in the Western societies, but we will take a lot of time to look up to that task. Thank you.
I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with that. I think one of the biggest challenges we as the colonized countries that were once colonized, when we were given our independence, we were left with systems that we acquired and did not put enough efforts to make them or design them to suit our needs.
We are here for PLT training, and you cover the whole area from the learning opportunity and from the child to teacher, the classroom environment, and the appraisals also. I want to just highlight an area that we as a teachers and educationists, we need a refresher course after a specific time. It should be indulged in the policy, and there should be something which should be highlighted after some time, that our teacher must get a refresher course and something innovative techniques in their regular learning environment, so that we come to the global standards as well.
Absolutely, बिल्कुल ठीक कहा आपने. And if you see कि जो one of my slides I talked about that the policies need to have that kind of adjustment. आपकी policies में इस बात it should have the room to see कि जो professional development है it's mandatory. It's not by choice. It's actually mandatory for all the educators. That if you are directly involved with teaching the children, being in a school system, then that means कि आपको वो professional development आपकी continuous होनी चाहिए. That is why we're calling it CPD. It's a continuous professional development. It should not stop. So if the world is looking at, like now for example, दूंगी the hybrid teaching or the virtual teaching that came up because what was the need of the time? Because of COVID, schools shut down. But should the education shut down as well? No. So we saw that the countries that could not organize hybrid or virtual teaching and learning sessions or education sessions, or they could not provide the schools could not provide education to children. Children were sitting at home. So imagine the gaps that were developed. So if the schools had a system where every year there was an assessment analysis in the school, there was an analysis of the needs of the school. That okay, maybe our math program is not working. How can now we train our teachers to acquire those skills that are needed for math program, for the implementation of math program? Maybe teachers we can acquire or buy an online program that is like an enhancement program. There are so many online courses or online websites that are giving extra programs to teachers or giving extra training to teachers. But yes, the policies need to have that kind of flexibility to have that, to actually make teacher training or professional development as a mandatory aspect of it.
Simple question, Mike. Is there any program to issue license to the teachers who can get professionally trained and get license if we have become successful to issue the license in professional teachers, so we can get the target achieved immediately. Thank you.
The stakeholder here, we cannot deny that. But the role of a teacher is so imperative. It's so pivotal that we cannot ignore the teachers are that one direct link of education to the students. So it is very important for teachers to have the right skills and awareness of the methodologies that are needed for today's education. United Nations Education, the SDG 4, the Sustainable Development Goal, is all about education. This year is declared as the Year of Education 2024. And at the moment, I'm here in Ethiopia working with working on this project about foundational literacy and numeracy. But one of the key aspects of it is that teachers need to have the right skills to actually be able to implement the new methods of teaching and learning. So that is one of the key things. I hope that I'm in total agreement with your comment, but I hope that everybody who is part of developing these policies is ready to embrace the change. Not just educators, not just students. Remember, we tell our students they need to go into medical schools and they need to go into engineering schools and all that. And the only thing we're teaching them is because we're teaching to test, we're teaching to assess them. We are not teaching them to understand and have the skills to actually use them wherever they go in life to be able to actually utilize those skills, apply those skills. We are asking them to memorize the content that is there in the book, by the way, which is outdated, right? So we're not asking them to acquire skills and understand the bigger and universal concepts rather than just memorizing the content. I'm absolutely sure of the fact that there are many licenses, many training programs that issue you with those licenses. But right now it comes to the Ministry of Education in your country, what kind of programs they are allowing, because it has to be in their recruitment criteria. If they have certain programs that are in the country available for teachers, then they tell or they make the schools or they make the hiring bodies authorized to only recruit the teachers who have got certain trainings, who are licensed and have got the license that is required by the government of Ministry of Education. That is something that it's a very technical question. Maybe your bodies, your Ministry of Education will the spokesperson from there will be the best people to answer that question. But internationally, there are every country has got their own criteria, but there are courses that are internationally acknowledged. If you go through the Oxford University's courses, if you go, they have got programs like the Open University programs or programs like if I look at, I'm not sure if they are identified or they are recognized in Pakistan, but there are international courses that give teachers international certification. But in line with your question, maybe the authorities in Pakistan would be the best people to answer that question.
Thank you very much for sharing your insight and wisdom on the topic, and we really appreciate that you have given us time, and we would love to listen to you wherever we will have another opportunity. Thank you so much.
I am privileged. This is my honor. Thank you very much. I wish you all best of luck. Thank you.